Making headlines this hour, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz states that the United Kingdom's decision to reduce tariffs on Maldivian fish exports will create greater opportunities for sustainably caught Maldivian tuna in the UK market. The bodies of the two remaining Italian tourists who went missing while diving in the Maldives are successfully recovered following an extensive recovery operation involving Maldivian authorities and international diving experts. Passenger flight frequency in the Maldives rises for the summer season, a shift attributed by Mohammed Amin, the Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation, to a strategic reduction in jet fuel prices intended to incentivize international carriers.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz states that the United Kingdom's decision to suspend tariffs on Maldivian fish exports will create greater opportunities for sustainably caught Maldivian tuna in the UK market. In a post on X, the president warmly welcomed the decision, noting that it would make Maldivian tuna more accessible to British consumers while also driving progress in the Maldives fisheries sector. He said the move would boost fishermen's incomes and improve living standards across island communities. Successive Maldivian administrations have worked tirelessly towards securing suspension of UK tariffs, with efforts spanning more than 12 years. President Muiz noted that the Maldives is internationally recognized for its responsible and sustainable pole and lined tuna fishing industry. He described the development as a historic milestone that reflects the strong ties between the Maldives and the United Kingdom, as well as the shared commitment to sustainable trade and economic development. He concluded by expressing appreciation to the UK government and all partners who contributed to the achievement, describing it as a significant boost to the Maldivian economy. In a landmark development that promises to transform the fortunes of Maldivian fishermen, the United Kingdom agrees to cut tariffs on fish products exported from the Maldives, marking the culmination of more than a decade of diplomatic efforts and negotiations.
The UK's decision to cut tariffs on Maldivian fish exports marks a major breakthrough for the country's fishing industry after more than a decade of uncertainty. Since losing duty-free access in 2014 following the Maldives' graduation from least developed country status, fish exports to the US face tariffs of up to 24%, weakening the competitiveness of one of the nation's most important industries. The UK is the Maldives' second largest fish export market and the leading destination for high-value processed fish products made locally. Unlike markets that import raw fish for processing abroad, the UK buys packaged and value-added products prepared entirely in the Maldives, helping create jobs and retain more revenue within the country. Successive governments attempted to negotiate tariff relief, first through the European Union and later directly with the UK after Brexit, but progress remained slow. Meanwhile, fishermen face delayed payments, shrinking profits, and growing uncertainty. After taking office, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz prioritized resolving the issue, personally engaging British officials during a visit to the UK last year. His meetings with senior leaders, the launch of the From Maldives Fisheries brand, and new trade cooperation initiatives helped strengthen bilateral economic ties. Now, after 12 years of negotiations, the UK has agreed to reduce tariffs on Maldivian fish products, restoring much-needed competitiveness in one of the world's most lucrative seafood markets. The move is expected to boost exports, support long-term investment, and provide greater stability for thousands of Maldivians who depend on the fishing industry for their livelihoods.
The bodies of the two remaining Italian tourists who went missing while diving in the Maldives are successfully recovered following an extensive recovery operation involving Maldivian authorities and international diving experts.
The recovery effort, which concluded on the 20th of May, marks the end of a multi-day search operation that mobilized significant resources from the Maldives National Defense Force, Coast Guard, the police service, and a team of experienced Finnish technical divers sent in by the Italian government. The 4 victims were located inside a cave system where they had been diving, according to government officials. Recovery operations proceeded in stages, with 2 bodies recovered the day before and the remaining 2 retrieved today. Identification of the recovered remains is currently underway, the chief government spokesperson Muhammad Hussein Sharif confirmed to PSM News. He added, authorities are now coordinating with the Italian government to facilitate the repatriation of the bodies to Italy. The spokesperson took the opportunity to express gratitude to all parties who contributed to the recovery mission. He additionally thanked the 2 local companies that provided voluntary assistance throughout the operation, as well as the MNDF and police personnel whose coordinated efforts made the successful outcome possible. The search operation was triggered when the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center received a report at 1:45 p.m. on the 14th of May regarding the disappearance of 5 Italian divers. The group, which included an Italian diving instructor and 4 tourist divers, had failed to resurface at their expected time. Upon receiving the information, the MNDF immediately launched comprehensive search operations by both sea and air. The first body recovered was identified as that of the diving instructor. The 3 Finnish divers who spearheaded the recovery effort brought considerable international experience to the mission, having previously participated in similar underwater recovery operations across various countries around the world.
Passenger flight frequency in the Maldives rises for the summer season, a shift attributed by Mohammed Amin, the Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation, to a strategic reduction in jet fuel prices intended to incentivize international carriers.
During a press conference at the President's office, the minister stated that the government is prioritizing efforts to mitigate the impact of the conflict in the Middle East on the tourism sector, noting that these measures are yielding tangible results. Amin reported that while on average of 99 flights were cancelled each week at the onset of the conflict, the figure has declined to 70, representing a 22% improvement. As flight schedules for the summer seasons are being finalized, passenger volumes have recorded a 2% increase over the previous year. To bolster participation, the retail price of jet fuel was reduced on the 15th of May from $1.90 to $1.60 per liter, while visitor numbers fell by 22% in March and 26% in April year-over-year. The sector has achieved a 17% improvement against more recent months. With the inauguration of direct flights between Australia and the Maldives, an aircraft arrived from Melbourne on the Wednesday at 92% capacity, underscoring an optimistic outlook.
According to the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation, over 600,000 tourists lodges in resorts so far this year, making up 70.4% of all visitors to the Maldives.
To date, 879,154 travelers have arrived in the Maldives in 2026, a 5.3% decline compared to last year. Data shows that the majority of tourists stayed in resorts at 604,888 tourist arrivals. Guest houses ranked second with 211,275 visitors in total. Furthermore, 22,512 travelers stayed at hotels, while 19,222 opted for safari vessels. There are 179 resorts and 952 guest houses currently operating in the Maldives. The top 5 source markets are as follows: China with 134,838 arrivals, Russia with 116,010 arrivals, the United Kingdom with 75,886 arrivals, Italy with 67,930 arrivals, and Germany with 56,966 arrivals. Most visitors travel to the Maldives via air, with 865,346 such arrivals. Of these, the greatest portion landed at Quelana International Airport, at 854,372 tourists. Gang International Airport comes in second at 3,569 travelers, with Mafaru International Airport in third with 3,130 tourists. Hanimadu International Airport follows at 1,981 tourists in total. In addition to this, data shows that 1,572 visitors arrived via Mamigili Airport and 722 via Dalu Airport.
The Ministry of Climate Change, Environment and Energy announces that upon completion of ongoing projects will add 330 megawatts of renewable energy capacity to the national grid.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz has unveiled an ambitious energy policy framework that sets a sweeping target of increasing the country's renewable energy consumption to 33% by the year 2030. Director General of the Ministry, Ahmad Ali, said the government is working diligently to achieve this transformative target. According to Ahmad Ali, the completion of ongoing and planned renewable energy projects will provide an additional 330 megawatts of clean energy capacity, supplementing the existing 110 megawatt and enabling the nation to meet its ambitious renewable energy objectives. The implementation strategy encompasses a diverse portfolio of renewable energy initiatives distributed across Malé City and numerous inhabited islands throughout the archipelago. The installation of 164 megawatts of solar photovoltaic hybrid systems is currently underway in 101 islands, with various projects progressing through different stages of development. Simultaneously, the government is upgrading distribution infrastructure and installing battery energy storage systems to ensure reliable power supply. A substantial 158 megawatt battery storage capacity is being established across multiple islands to complement the solar installation and address the intermittent nature of renewable energy generation. The ministry has pursued a multifaceted investment approach to fund these ambitious projects, incorporating publicly announced initiatives, a special investment project, and private sector partnerships. Ahmad Ali highlighted that major investments have been made over the past 2 years to guarantee 24-hour electricity service to all island communities. During this period, 157 generators with a combined capacity of 115 megawatts have been installed across different islands, while new power plants have been constructed in 6 islands to accommodate increasing demand driven by development and population growth. Among the most ambitious undertaking is a planned 100 megawatt floating solar photovoltaic system to be established within the special economic zone, with the power purchasing agreement currently being under finalization. The initiative has attracted significant international interest, with 150 additional renewable energy companies expressing interest in establishing agreements with the government. Further feasibility studies are being conducted in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance to evaluate these proposals and identify the most promising opportunities for continued expansion of renewable energy capacity across the nation.
The state-owned pharmaceutical company inaugurates its first pharmacy at the Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital, or IGMH, in Malé. The newly established State Pharma IGMH pharmacy officially began operations on the 20th of May, offering around-the-clock service to patients and marking the beginning of a comprehensive transformation in the country's pharmaceutical distribution system. The pharmacy was inaugurated in a ceremony attended by Malé City Group of Hospitals Chief Executive Officer Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim and State Pharmaceutical Company Managing Director Dr. Shah Mahir. Located within the outpatient department area of IGMH, the facility is envisioned as a model for similar establishments to be rolled out across the archipelago, according to company officials. State Pharmaceutical Company highlighted that the 24-hour service model reflects the administration's commitment to ensuring that citizens can access essential medical supplies without without facing the difficulties that have plagued the healthcare system for years. The pharmacy will dispense medications according to prescriptions while also maintaining stocks of commonly required medicines. The company has also announced plans to procure pharmaceutical products from international markets that are currently not available through existing supply chains in the Maldives, addressing a critical gap in the nation's healthcare infrastructure. The establishment of the state pharmaceutical company represents one of the administration's most ambitious healthcare initiatives. The Maldives Police Service announces this week that more than $75,000 lost to fraudulent schemes was recovered during this year's Operation Frontier Plus, an international initiative aimed at dismantling sophisticated criminal networks.
This campaign, the third large-scale global operation dedicated to combating cross-border financial crime, unified National Anti-Scam Center to target illicit syndicates. The operation ran from 10th March to 7th May, concluding with an international press conference where participating nations disclosed collective results, including arrest figures and statistics regarding frozen assets. Domestically, the effort involved the deployment of more than 40 officers from the Anti-Scam Center of the Maldives. Adam Naveed, head of the Anti-Scam Center, stated that 349 cases were investigated throughout the operation, with 186 of those instances identified as e-commerce scams. Financial damages initially exceeded $259,480.52. Law enforcement agencies successfully froze 664 bank accounts, enabling the recovery of $75,251.62. Investigators brought 574 individuals suspected of involvement, comprising of 490 men and 84 women in for questioning. Operation Frontier Plus drew on a coalition of international partners, including authorities from Australia, Brunei, Canada, Dubai, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Macau, Malaysia, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, and Thailand. Investigators targeted deceptive practices ranging from investment and romance frauds to job-related deception and phishing. Authorities continued to issue public safety guidance, urging citizens to avoid clicking suspicious digital links and to refrain from sharing security verification codes with third parties.
Taking a look at international business, Samsung Electronics Management and its labor union fails to reach a deal, setting the stage for 48,000 workers to walk off the job, threatening the health of South Korea's economy and likely disrupting the global supply of semiconductors.
Under intense pressure from the government and business groups to avert a strike, the two sides had sought to hash out a deal and bonus payments before the 18-day strike begins. Samsung said in a statement that the union has made unacceptable demands and that accepting them would have shaken the company's fundamental principles. The union demanded that Samsung abolish a cap on bonuses that stands at 50% of annual salaries, allocate 15% of annual operating profit to bonuses, and that these changes be formalized beyond 1 year.
Updates on world affairs. China and Russia's leaders lauded the progress in their strategic ties as they met in Beijing for summit talks, where Moscow is expected to push for stronger energy links.
Chinese President Xi Jinping told Russian President Vladimir Putin that China would share development opportunities with Russia and the world as a part of its latest 5-year economic plan. Putin, at the invitation of Xi, headed to China on a state visit. This is Putin's 25th visit to China. The rare back-to-back visits to Beijing by the leaders of two major countries deeply at odds with each other politically, militarily, and economically have been hailed by Chinese state media as recognition of China's global standing in an increasingly fragmented world order.
U.S. President Donald Trump says a war with Iran would end very quickly and promoted plans for a large UFC event at the White House, speaking at the annual congressional picnic.
Trump said that a resolution would push oil prices lower and emphasized that preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon remained a priority.
We're going to end that war very quickly. They want to make a deal so badly. They're tired of this. Should have happened for 47 years. Somebody should have done something about it. And it's going to happen, and it's going to happen fast. And you're going to see oil prices plummet. They're going to come down. There's so much oil out there. They're going to come plummeting down. But even with that, the stock market's at an all-time high.
At the same event, Trump outlined plans for a UFC fight on the White House grounds, describing it as a large public spectacle. He said additional viewing space would be set up on nearby grounds to accommodate larger crowds. The congressional picnic is an annual White House tradition, bringing together members of Congress, cabinet officials, and their families.
Moving on to sports, Arsenal ends their 22-year wait to win the Premier League title when they were confirmed as champions following second-placed Manchester City's 1-1 draw at Bournemouth.
Leaders for almost the entire season, Mikel Arteta's side are now 4 points clear with one game remaining, and Sunday's clash at Crystal Palace will now be a coronation. Arsenal's triumph sparked huge celebrations across London, and minutes after the final visit at Bournemouth, large crowds of Arsenal fans began to descend en masse to the Emirates Stadium for a party that was set to go on late into the night. Arteta, at 44, the youngest Arsenal manager to win the English top-flight title, said the previous day that he would be Bournemouth's biggest fan for a couple of hours on Tuesday. It is Arsenal's first title since 2003-2004, when Arsene Wenger's side went through the season unbeaten, and their first major trophy since the 2020 FA Cup in Arteta's first season after taking over from Unai Emery. A memorable campaign could get even better for Arsenal as they face Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League final in Budapest on the May 30th, bidding to win the trophy for the first time.
Concluding with lighter news, Britain's Royal Mint, in collaboration with Warner Bros. Discovery Global Consumer Products, unveils a new The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring 50-pence coin to mark the 2001 film's 25th anniversary.
The coin's design centers on the One Ring from filmmaker Peter Jackson's Academy Award-winning film, which is the source of power behind the whole fantasy saga, created by author J.R.R. Tolkien.
The benefit of having the One Ring as a theme is that it's so instantly recognisable. It really ties it back to the movies and the stories, and it tells a story instantly. So it works perfectly on something like a 50-pence, where you can put that small detail on it, and people will instantly know what it is you're talking about.
Designed by Royal Mint coin designer Thomas D. Doherty, the tail side of the coin features the film's Elvish lettering and Tolkien's Black speech language, spoken in the evil realm of Mordor by Sauron, including the verse, "One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them." The reverse side of the coin features the official coin portrait of Britain's King Charles III. Some of the minted coins will also feature a caustic element, so that when light hits the coin, the all-seeing eye of Sauron will be projected from the center of the coin's ring onto a surface. According to the Royal Mint, this is the first caustic technology that has been featured on a UK coin available to the public. The 50-pence coin, which goes on sale from $20, is the first of 7 planned in a collection to celebrate each 25th anniversary, respectively, of all 3 Lord of the Rings films, including The Two Towers and The Return of the King, across the next 3 years.
I was really keen to use the Elvish lettering as part of the coinage design. One, because it's beautiful lettering and calligraphy, and two, because it can add a real element of dynamism and movement to the coin. So when I was framing the ring, I was looking at how I could utilise or use the lettering to really add to it.
The 6-film saga is based on the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit books by Tolkien and adapted for screen and directed by Jackson. They have earned $6 billion at the global box office and 17 Academy Awards according to the Royal Mail, which launched in collaboration with WBDGCP in March. The Fellowship of the Ring theme stamps in celebration of the film's 25th anniversary was also inaugurated. Following the 2000 film's milestone anniversary this year, a new movie, The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, is planned for release in theaters in 2027, with additional films to come.
And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.
ಸರಕಾರಗೆ ಸಿಯಾಸತ್ತ ತಂಫೀಜ್ ಮುಂದ ಮಿಂವರ ಸಿಯಾಸಿ ಮಸ್ರಹ ಅಣ್ಣ ಮುಂದ ಬದಲ್ತಾ
ರೈತಂಗೆ ಮಜಲಿಯುಗ ಕುರ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆತಕ ಕಾನೂನಿ ನಿಜಾಮ ಅಣ್ಣ ಬದಲ್ತಾ ಅದಿ ಅದುಲ್ ಇನ್ಸಾಫ್ಗೆ ನಿಜಾಮ್ಕ ಕಂಕಂ ಹಿಂಗ ಮುಹಿಗಾಗೊಯ್
ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಇಕ್ತಿಸಾದ ಅಣ್ಣ ಮುಂದ ಬದಲ್ತಕ ತರಕಿಗೆ ಮಶ್ರತ
ಇಜ್ತಿಮಾಯಿ ರಕ್ಕಾತೆರಿಕಂ ಕಶವರ್ ಕುರ್ಮತಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರಂ ಕುರಮದ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆತಕ ಅಮಿಲ ಫರಾತಕ ಜಮಿಯಾ ಜಮಾತೋಗೆ ತವರು
ತಿಮಾವಿಶ್ ಹಿಮಾಯ ಕುರ್ಮ ಕುರವೆ ಮಸೆಕೆತಕ ಮೂಸುಮಿ ಬದಲ್ತಕ ಗುಳೆ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಫಹುಗೆ ಮೌದುಮಾತ್
ಏಕೆ ದಾರಾತಹುಗೆ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಇಸ್ ಬೇಬೆ ಫುಳು ಮದಿರುಕೋ ತೆದುಬಹು ತಾಜಾ ಕಮಾಕರ್ಮಿ ಕೆನಸ್ತನಿ ರಾಜ್ಮೇದು
ರಾಜ್ಯಮೇದು ಕೊಮೆರಿಯಕು ಎಕಾವಿಸ್ ಕಡಿಸು ಮಿನಿಟ್ಗ PSM ನ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್
IKEA presents Rajya Miyadu. Co-sponsor Villa College.
ಇಂಗೇತ Android TV ತಕಂ ವಸ್ ಮಿಹಾರ್ PSM ಗೆ ಚಣವತ ಅಡೋಹಾಲ ಬಲಾಲೆಲೆನೆ Android TV ತಕಂ Google Play Store ಯ ವಾದೆ PSM ಯ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲೊಮ ಫಹು ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲವ್ವ ಎಹಾವಸ್ ಫಸಿಹವಾಣ
ಮುಸ್ತಕ್ಬಲಕಿ ಉಫಂವ ಹಾಲತಿನ್ನು ಏಯ್ ಕುರ್ಹಾನ್ ಜೆಹೆ ಮಂಜರೆ